Good morning, students. In our chapter Understanding the Earth, today we will learn about the classification of rocks and the rock cycle. The rocks have been classified into three major groups, that is igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic, on the basis of their formation, appearance and the content. Now let us study about each of it in detail. The first one is igneous rocks. They are also called primary rocks because they are formed first. The word igneous is derived from the Latin word ignis, which means fire. These rocks are formed by the cooling and solidification of hot lava and magma. Solidification का मतलब होता है to convert into solid. And see, lava and magma, we often get confused with these two words. When it is inside the earth, it is magma. And as soon as it comes to the surface of the earth, it is known as lava. Now sometimes what happens that magma, it cools slowly under the earth surface, यानी earth की surface के अंदर ही cool down हो जाता है and it gets converted into rocks. They are known as intrusive or plutonic rocks. Intrusive, इनका मतलब क्या हुआ? अंदर, यानी कि those rocks which are formed inside the earth, वो हो गए हमारे intrusive rocks. For example, granite. And other times, lava, it cools when it comes to the surface of the earth through volcanic eruption. So these are known as, they form the extrusive or volcanic rocks. For example, pumice. It is the example of the extrusive rocks. Now some of the features of igneous rocks are, first one is, they are hard and compact. Next, they do not allow the water to pass through them. Third one is, they are not formed in layers. And last one is, they do not contain fossils, यानी कि remains of plants and animals. The next type of rocks is sedimentary rocks. The word sedimentary is derived from the Latin word sedentum, which means to settle down. Sediment is small particles of sand, mud or organic material that settles down on the bottom of water bodies, most oftenly lakes or oceans. Sedimentary rocks are formed when these sediments, they get accumulated. Accumulate means to gather together. So these sediments, they get accumulated over time in layers, and these layers, they become squeezed and compressed over time to form rocks. These are known as the sedimentary rocks. Some features of sedimentary rocks are, first one is, they are softer as compared to the igneous rocks. Next, they belong to the secondary group of rocks. Next is, they contain fossils, यानी कि remains of plants and animals, they might contain fossils. And some examples can be limestone, shale, etc. The third type of rocks is metamorphic rock. The word metamorphic is derived from Greek word which means change or of form, F-O-R-M, form. And metamorphic rocks are those which change their form under great heat and pressure. The existing igneous and sedimentary rocks change their state, and this process may take millions of years. This is how the metamorphic rocks are formed. Some features of metamorphic rocks are, first one is, they are layered, means they are formed in different layers, and they are the hardest of all the rocks. Next is, they do not allow the water to pass through them, the same as the igneous rocks. And they do not contain fossils. They also belong to the secondary groups of rocks, and some example can be marble, which is formed from limestone, quartzite from sandstone. Now these rocks, they constantly changes their group from one to another through a cyclic process that is known as rock cycle. Now how does this rock cycle work? See, the rock cycle begins with magma. When magma cools, it forms igneous rocks. And these rocks, they break down because of several forces that act on them, such as water and wind. And these sediments, the small pieces, they get deposited over time to form sedimentary rocks. Now, because of great heat and pressure, the igneous and sedimentary rock changes their form and changes into metamorphic rocks. And lastly, metamorphic rocks also may be broken down again to form magma, starting the cycle again. Therefore, a cyclic relationship exists between these three groups that is known as the rock cycle.